Hello. Hey, man, I've been listening to other people and other information. I decided to do a short video on this one about why is rent so expensive in America. What do you think? What do America? What do you guys think about why is rent so expensive? I think the cost of living has gone up. The cost of the COLA, cost of living, acronym for cost of living adjustment, has gone up across the country. Minimum wages went to 15. A lot of the businesses today are ran by corporations. A lot of apartments are ran by management corporations. Not that many apartments across the American landscape that's really open to a free market. There's usually a lot of corporations and businesses now, and they don't have the interest of. It used to be the mom and pop spots that own apartment complexes previously in American history. So this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with, and then you're also dealing with a global system. America now is a global system. Now people can own property from anywhere around the world. Could come into America and buy property. It's open. The system is open now. It's been open before, but now at a whole different level now. That's why you're seeing a lot of the major changes in apartments. In America, you get an apartment for $500, $600 just 10, 15 years ago. A one bedroom. You can't get that now. Nowhere. You can't even rent rooms for that price point no more. When you're a college student and you move to another city and you're trying to get indoctrinated to the city and everything, you have to be there for a year. So you have to stay there for a year, rent a room, rent an apartment, a roommate with somebody, work a job, get your residency there because you don't want to pay out of state tuition. So you go there and you stay there for a year. That's what a lot of college students did across America. They want to get in certain institutions, and if they could get in one way, they get in another way. So this is what they would do. They would move around the country, and that was an option. So this is where you were seeing some people who would travel and stay in other places, but now you can't do that anymore. And people are complaining at an all time rate. I think it's waking up now. You got to have rent. Uh, Rent evaluation is different. It's almost like a loan. It's like you got to have two or three times. You got to show that you can afford to pay the rent because, like everyone know, the cost of living and the eviction notices are at an all time rate. And people that rent out properties don't want to be rent to people that know they're gonna be there for 3 months, 6 months, and they leave. That's too much. That's a high turnover. A lot of people don't pay rent. A lot of them tear up the apartments. So there's a lot of points that goes into the reason why uh, landlords are raising the prices and asking for certain stipulations on the rental of their properties. And the average American is not used to that. We're not used to it. Like old people used to say, the privilege days that you used to have are changing at a rapid rate. You're losing them type of privileges that you took for granted. Now you're seeing the volatility of these principles, these privileges, principal privileges that you previously had. So yeah, engagement is different now as far as renting an apartment in America. The climate has definitely changed and risen. Let's see what this young lady had to say about her version, and then we'll break it down a little further. Yeah, it's amazing, guys, to see what's going on.
Why is rent so expensive? I remember like 9 years ago, we lived in like a two-bedroom apartment for 500 or $550 a month. And now a two-bedroom apartment would cost you way over a grand. A three-bedroom over 2 grand. And not even that nice of an apartment. And it's like they say you got to make two times the rent to even be able to get the place. A lot of people don't make that. I know that a lot of people are having to have roommates or live with family just to survive. How can that even be legal? It's crazy, man. Just let people be able to live. People got children.
Yeah, and that's the norm you're feeling. The increase of normative you're feeling out in American society with working class, the working poor, the working class, the poor, the poverty, the underprivileged, the marginalized communities. Not just you saying not just minorities. It's hitting everybody. It's hitting the major group, and they're feeling it. It's true. Now you're seeing it at the all-time rate now, and people are starting to now complain about this. She had several points, bullet points. I'm gonna touch on. One is the rent increases. We see why a lot of people are a lot of people are buying because that's a necessity. It's almost like the U.S. government bonds. People got to have a place to live. So people, business people, and people that are looking at that know people. One thing they're gonna know, they're gonna have to have a roof over their head, shelter. That's a necessity. And what's happening now, a lot of people that used to take it for granted that we're saying, and especially this Gen millennials and Gen Z, they gonna get the blues because they lived in a whole illusion of reality. I'm a Generation X. They lived in a whole different illusion, man. It's an illusion of inclusion that they expect this, and they think just arguing, forgetting America is a capitalism system. You got to fight for this stuff. You got to. Nobody gonna give you anything, and nobody owe you anything. But today's society, these generations, they think somebody owes them something. They really believe you owe me, and that's the sad thing. No, just two generations before, they'll tell you nobody owe you nothing. You got to work for yours. You got to build yours up, and appreciate it. Today's generation, they don't appreciate things. They live in a privileged mindset. They live in a different oasis. You just talk to them, you figure it out. You be like, wow, you really think that? That's amazing what you think. Another thing, they think rent's supposed to be at a certain pace. Doesn't necessarily have to be so. And then like where she's probably living, you got to understand rent rent all over all the country is different rates, different communities, optics, different privileges, different landscapes, coastal landscapes. Major cities going to be different from rural areas, so the price point's going to be higher. Like she was saying, 2000 in Seattle, in the city of Seattle, it's an apartment. It's a one-bedroom apartment. You know, two-bedroom apartment is 2,500, 3,000 for a two-bedroom apartment. That's a standard. These rents are in the cities. Then you go out, you find that 2,000, 3,000. One a studio in Seattle is 1,500. A studio, not in one bedroom, is 1,500. A studio. So, and it's not in the nicest area of the city. So when we get to the nice area, it's up there. So these are the evaluation that these generations got, the future generations got to take in consideration. You got to take it. You're going back to the old days if you don't know it. When they say the Great Reset, we are living in the Great Reset. You're going back to the old days. Basically, what you're saying, you're in the modern times, but you got to live like the old days. What you mean? Well, your check ain't gonna rise that fast as the economy is rising. The inflation and everything is rising. So what I mean by that is your check is only gonna cover so much. Your skill set only covers so much. So therefore, the large percentage of your check, you have to pay rent. So what's left over is basically for your food, your basic life. Then whatever left over, that's basically what you can live on. Your liberty, your freedom, your privilege. So if you got to pay your taxes, you got to pay all of this. So imagine if you're getting 5,000. The average salary is 50,000, 55,000 dollars a year. The average American salary across the board. If you're not, and you got a lot of people living below average. A lot of people living in poverty line, working poor. So we talking about the average. We talking about averaging all out the mean. So that's another perspective you got to look into. So the person that's up there, we talking about people with a degree, with abilities to navigate things, got a reasonable salary, $50,000, $60,000 a year. But where are they gonna stay at? What? That's why you need a partner. You need somebody to grow with. And then you put your 60 and their 60. Now you got 120. Now you got leverage. Check this out. Your $1,500 rent and your $15 rent come together $3,000. You can get a two-bedroom. You might not be able to get a two-bedroom this side of the town because this is expensive. You might want to get it in Bellevue. You might want to get it in the downtown proper because down there they're going to be more expensive because you got to see the Puget Sound over the beautiful. That you pay for the amenities, them amenities, them what they call amenities. So you pay for all these amenities. You get down, you're in this downtown location. Transportation is free, not free, but it's cheaper. You got connection to the airport. You got all this central, but you pay for them amenities of a city, and that's what people didn't never had to thought about before. But now society is showing you got to pay attention to them price points, and now they mean something. Well, I should go around all the time. You do this, you do that, but now it comes with a price point, and the average American is not used to that. They feel like you're invading their privileges, and they feel that they have a right to do that. No, you don't. You pay for all this stuff. I remember they used to tell my parents used to tell us don't go downtown. Don't go downtown. You ain't got no reason to be downtown. You ain't got nothing to pay for downtown. Everything downtown costs. Why are you going down there? Then we say we're going to the park, to the arch, basically a free park. So you can go downtown for 10 minutes, look at the arch, and then come right back. Boy, sit your butt in your bedroom or go outside and play on your street, on the street with your friends in the park or something. But don't take your butt down. So you was taught early as a child not to be in areas that you can afford to be in, and that's why things look different. But now you look at the American landscape because so many people from other places, and a lot of this generation don't think of that. You see everybody down there. Okay, last example I give you: you go to a store and get some ice cream, right? Get a half a gallon of ice cream, half a gallon of ice cream, the half gallons. Get them for $4 or $5, right? You can serve the whole family and have a part of it left over. You go downtown in the average city, a scoop of ice cream is going to be $4 $5. That's the cheap a scoop. But then you get the specialty ice cream, you get the with the other flavors, they're gonna charge more for that. Then you get the waffle cone, or you get the other items on there. You'll come out of for one ice cream cone, one scoop of ice cream on a type of waffle cone. You'll come out of like $9 $10 when you could have got a whole box for $4 $5. That's telling you can't afford that one ice cream cone. Well, you could have had a week of ice cream cones. But you downtown, you want to get the waffle cone. You want to feel like you've no. That's for city dwellers. That's for people that's making 100,000. They got a couple down there that's making 150, 60,000, 120 to 160,000. They got nurses, doctors, lawyers. The ones that got the skill set to afford that can enjoy that privilege. Everybody can't enjoy them privileges. These are things you got to take into accountability. That's what a lot of people are not taking into as comparative to the rents of today. Rent is not expensive. They are just adjust. There are some are expensive, but you got to do the adjustments. You got to do what is the amenities, what is the environment, who runs this organization, this apartment complex, where's the location. You got to look at everything in the place. And yes, things that have risen, but you got to realize the salaries the minimum wage has risen too. So when you look at that comparative, minimum wage has doubled practically, almost. Minimum wage should be seven something, especially in the South. Now it's $15 everywhere you go. They're trying to raise up 20 on the West Coast. So you got to look at that. So you think the landlord's not going to get part of that money too? They're not going to raise their money to meet that upper mobility? Because now you're getting people that they really wouldn't want in their property, renting properties because they got making $20 an hour. They got a load of people that could never before previously could afford to rent their property. Now they're able to rent it. But if you raise the rent prices up, you adjust to the climate, to the society, and so your rents will. Now it's back. You'll be able to rent to nurses, doctors, lawyers, dentists, plumbers, people that got career trades. That's going to be serious. It protects yourself. But if you don't do that and you don't raise it up, you got people that's Burger King, fast food restaurants. They might not have a lot of discipline. Young people that's working, and they'll be able to get the rent, get paid for the first, last, and deposit. Then they get in there and they don't want to pay rent because they're not mature enough yet. They're not qualified enough yet. But if you got a plumber, a landscaper, a mechanic, a barber, a nurse, a dentist. These fields, they take responsibilities. They know the responsibility of life, so they cover that. And so this is why you do the adjustment. This is why some of these departments, program managers and managers of apartment buildings do this adjustment because they're trying to keep out the riffraff. So you got to remember all this. There's a reason for everything. As they say, there's nothing new in the sun. Remember, there's a reason for everything. So rent is not necessarily expensive. It's expensive to certain situations. It is expensive, but then if you look at the other reasons for it, then you say, okay, it's not that much expensive. It is. I'm not going. I'm not going to just lie. It is. It has gotten expensive from previously, but other factors have taken place, like rent adjustments. Minimum wage adjustments. A lot of things have taken place, and so there's always an adjustment on every level. So this is my opinion. What is your opinion? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think.